All right, we are back to the third episode of Odd Pod, which is what we decided on. I think was where we left off. We decided that's the one. We're gonna go with that. Paul, what have you been up to since I lost internet connection and the stream just went and took a shit? What have you been up to?
I frantically attempted to call you back on Skype like 9 times, and I sent
Frantically?
you frantically, and then I sent you a couple of nice emails. I sent you one with an image there. You should go ahead and open that up.
You sent it to me via Skype, I imagine you did.
No, just on your email.
Oh, my email. My my
Yes.
uh, my my business email or my garbage email that I give to the ladies.
No, Dan, the super secret email that you keep only just for me.
Oh, I haven't
And
checked. I
it's a
haven't
great.
checked that one in 6 or 7 years.
You'll need to open that up. There's a good image in there for you.
I will definitely. I will definitely check that out. See, I've got a pre-recorded video of me. It's just a little 5-minute snippet of me right here in the Pink Flamingo smoke shack. And I put what it is what it's something that I'm going to put on when I go take a shit. So it'll look like I never went anywhere. If I hit the pose at the beginning of the video and then just play the video, it'll look like Dan's still there. But no, I'm off taking a shit.
That's not going to work, Dan. You'll have to put it on a loop. You've never taken a 5-minute dump in your life.
That's not true.
Well, you have, but it's like 5 minutes and then some more time.
Oh, well, I guess that's technically true.
Are you going to put up some audio here so I have something to look at, or some video so I have something to look at?
Oh, you want me to share my screen with you as well? Is that...
Yes, I've got a blue screen.
Oh, now I'm the blue screen.
You are the blue
Motherfucker.
screen. There you are. Okay, so now I have your. You're ruining it. There you are.
Hi.
Dadgummit, you're beautiful.
Thank you.
You know, your pad is lush, Dan. Is that what these heavy YouTube checks are paying for?
Yes. Yeah, that pays for the pink flamingo.
So you have a sweet AF Palm Beach pad. I get nothing.
Well, I think you and I discussed that. When the big checks come in, I'll let you know. And then once you know, you can spend the portion of the check that we then sit down and agree upon that is rightfully yours.
You know what? So you're going with the George Clinton method then?
Yeah, I guess. Kinda.
Hmm.
But you're okay with that, right? I mean, maybe we should just write up some contracts and just get it over with.
Hey, I'm just in it for the art, Dan.
Now I started sharing my screen with you. Can you see it now? Like, see what's going on?
Yeah,
there?
I've got you. I've got you.
All right. So this episode is all about half a dozen strange oddities that have taken place on this here rock throughout history.
This planet.
The one that we're on now. It's the one that I'm most familiar with.
It's the only one I've been on, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I am.
It's kind of a
I've
sheltered
never been
existence.
anywhere else.
Bit of a sheltered.
I know.
Hmm.
I know. You know, there's nothing for it. I'm now too old and fat. They won't let me go anymore.
Any more or less, right?
Well, do it with your mouth. Oh, what? I don't know what happened there. I don't know why I did that. I'm sorry.
Kind of Tourette's. Is that what that was?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so I checked the live stream. Looks like it's okay, but there's no telling. You know, we could have some horrendous surprise, but let's just move on. We need to get a tech guy.
Oh, yeah, I don't know any of those guys. I barely know how to work my phone. Did you look at the email I sent you?
You know what? I was just about to do that when you interrupted
I
me
think
with whatever you interrupted me with while I was trying to do that.
when I said do it with your mouth.
Oh, okay. You know, typically when you say stuff like that, I get pretty excited.
What I sent you was just an image.
I'm looking at it now. Oh, there he is. Yeah, you know,
Joe the Falcon.
yeah, I don't know if I
Yeah,
can share this with the rest of the class. No, it says I can't.
he's not in porn.
But I'll get one for the class to see. What was his
you know
name
what we can
again?
do?
Jonah what?
His, his name is Jonah Falcon,
Falcon.
and he's actually Falcon, like the bird.
Wow.
And he's actually a serious actor. You know, he's got some chops as an actor. He's been in some things. He's not in porn. You know, he doesn't want to be in porn, and you know, I guess I can understand that. He's got some standards that he wants to uphold for himself, and I think that's great. Plus, I mean, honestly, if he managed to get an erection with that thing, he'd probably pass out from the lack of blood flow to his brain.
You think so?
Uh, I don't even want to think about it, man. Just, you know, what happened was Dan had stated that I was the biggest dick in the world. I said, no, I'm not the biggest dick in the world. This guy has that.
There he is.
That can't be comfortable.
Well, let's see what old Peter Dinklage has to say about that. There he is.
I love PD.
Oh, Petey D. Man, he's not afraid to put on some fucking face pants and just let the world know.
You know, I think Peter Dinklage has been in, I think, each of the things that we've put on here, hasn't he?
No, just the Turpin's episode 2. He needs to be in more, though. You know,
Yeah, he really does.
I'll give you one more round. Go on, Petey. Take it away.
Hey, Dan, let's do the whole 2 people that watched this a favor. Take down the picture of the guy with the giant dog.
Mr. Falcon.
It was pretty impressive for a minute or 2, but now it's just kind of imposing.
Well, it's right there, pointed right at you. Look at that.
I'm saying.
Check him out.
I don't want that. It's mirrored. Get that away from me. Stop it. Stop. Oh, now it's behind me. Oh, I'm scared.
All right, well, let's see what's behind door number 1 and get this pig kicked. What do you say?
I like kicking pigs.
Well, all right, so we're going to start out with the 1904 Olympics that took place in St. Louis, Missouri.
Now, before we start, I'm just going to say, you sent me a link to this stuff, and I kind of glossed over it. And I'm not researched on any of this on any level. I'm just shooting from the hip today. We're going full Big Steve.
Full Big Steve.
So,
and for those who don't know what it's like
full Big
to
Steve.
take every part of Big Steve. Oh, there it is.
Big Steve.
Big Steven. Listen, I had something that I was going to share as well if you hadn't have taken the initiative and put the Bob's Burgers hat on. You know.
Was it going to be the Bob's Burgers train?
It was going to be the Bob's Burgers train.
The whistle is so loud.
So loud.
So
I
loud.
may not have the Bob's Burgers train anymore. Maybe it got Well, it doesn't matter. They see it full. They see it in full, all of its glory right now.
Well, you know what? It's a that's actually my hat that I wear when I am going to play bass here in the room by myself. It's
It's your lone bass playing hat.
it really is. It's when I'm gonna play my bass and I'm just in here, just me, butt naked with a bass. That's the hat.
I like it. I like it. So, at the 1904 Olympics in St. Louis, the marathon was a total mess. The first place finisher did most of the race in a car. The guy in second almost died from eating rat poison, and the fourth place finisher raced in dress pants and shoes and took a nap by the side of the road for part of the race.
So the part of this I read, it was the part that was really funny to me is that this guy, that picture that you currently have up, that guy had come from South America. Like there had been some sort of a crowdfunding exercise to get him the money to come. And he gets to the United States and immediately like gambles away all the money. Doesn't have any money. And he shows up on race day and doesn't have like his luggage or anything. And he shows up like dressed in a suit. And someone took a butcher knife and cut the legs off his pants and made him some shorts. And he finished third. Yeah, I think he was running in dress shoes.
That's him.
So I love the cut off pants there. He's wearing a dress shirt.
So first off, the entire course was very dusty, and breathing in that dust caused all kinds of injuries, including one runner who was hospitalized with hemorrhaging after the dust tore his esophagus and stomach lining. The organizer of the race purposefully withheld water in order to test the effects of dehydration. So the whole thing was a nightmare from the start. First place finisher Fred Lors hitched a ride in a car to the end of the course after he was struck with serious cramping. He had got out shortly before the finish line and crossed it, which fooled some of the onlookers. He claimed he did it as a joke. The second place finisher, Thomas Hicks, was given a mixture of egg whites and strychnine, a poison that is often used to kill rodents or birds, as an attempt at a performance-enhancing drug. Egg whites and strychnine.
Well, it worked for Rocky.
Yeah, I don't know if it was egg whites and strychnine, but something worked.
Hey, you don't know what was in that glass, man. We're not going to have a debate about it.
Oh, when he drinks all the raw eggs.
Yes.
Plus strychnine. Yeah.
Yes.
They just leave that part out of the movie, but there was a lot of strychnine in that.
And I have to say that I love Rocky because, Adrian is, wow, she's fine. Man.
She was kind of like the girl next door that nobody really wanted to talk about.
Well, there's too many flies in it. They get stuck in his throat. Oh, random Rocky references. I love this story that the winner had cramps. They said he took a nap by the side of the road, and then he hitched a ride. And so I wonder, he hitched a ride and was headed to the finish line, and then did he realize, oh, the race is still going on? And he says, "Sky, pull over here and let me out, and I'll cross the finish line, win this gold medal."
As a joke. If people see it, it was a joke anyway.
Yeah, so I think if he hadn't been called out on it, then it probably would have been, oh yeah, I fully won that race.
Yes. Yeah, I believe you're correct in that assumption.
So, but the egg whites and strychnine, that's performance enhancing.
No, that's just poison. But
okay.
That was a wild time, 1904. They were still figuring shit out.
I think they had figured out by then that strychnine was poison.
Maybe he just wasn't in on it. Like everybody else figured out that this is poison, and maybe it was one of the competitors was like, "I'm going to give this dipshit some egg whites and strychnine."
History of strychnine. Let's find out.
Okay, so the fourth place finisher And Darren Carbajal, pictured above, was a Cuban national who raised money to attend the Olympics by running the entire length of Cuba. He gambled away all the money when he arrived in the States and showed up for the race in dress clothing. Thankfully, another runner used a knife to cut his pants into shorts. Carbajal stopped at a roadside orchard for a snack during the race, but the apples were rotten, so he was struck with stomach cramps and had to sleep it off.
Yeah, this Olympiad, what a shit show.
Only in
I mean,
St.
like,
Louis. It's like, okay, yeah, that's
and
St. Louis, Missouri. Let's do the Olympics there.
how many people actually just ran the marathon and didn't have these sort of things? There's got to be more than 4 people in an Olympic marathon. How were these 4 out that far that they could stop and take a nap and have the runs from rotten apples, run the thing in dress shoes and win 4th place? Um, yeah, something's hinky about this whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ragtag bunch of marathoners there. Just the lowest of the low. I mean, that's kind of impressive that old Carbajal, you ran the entire length of Cuba, which is probably complete bullshit. That's just probably the story he showed up with. It's like, yeah, man, I belong here. I ran the entire length of Cuba. Who else can say that? Well, no one, because you're full of shit.
You know what? I think I'm going to say that I think that guy actually deserves the medal, because he ran the thing in dress shoes.
Less than half
I
finished the run. Well, less than half of
oh
everybody that showed up finished.
so most people just gave up then.
Fuck yeah! I was just, man, this is just a shit show. Whoever wins this,
It's
nobody's
like,
going to give a fuck about this. This Olympic shit's retarded anyway. Who
this is the
cares?
this is the worst. This is the worst Olympics ever, guys. Let's go get a
This
hamburger.
Olympic shit's never going to take off anyway.
Now, Dan, strychnine was discovered in 1818. So
Oh no!
I'm pretty sure that by 1904 they had a really good idea that strychnine was poison, and I have to wonder if there wasn't a sports book going on this. Like, yeah, he's the odds-on favorite, but we fed him some strychnine.
Yeah, yeah, there had to be a competitor. It had to be somebody who was trying to.
Hey Dan, if I invite you and 4 more people to PayPal, I can get $50.
Well, maybe we'll have a few lucky commenters that just get a piece of that action.
Well, I mean that would have to be the way because I don't know 4 other people.
Oh, yeah, well, part of the privilege of being an older man, you don't have to know a whole lot of fucking people. So here we got old
All right.
Robert Liston, a surgeon in the 1800s. He performed an operation with a 300% mortality rate. Now, that's a weird number. It should just be like 100% mortality rate, but he killed 3 people during it. So he started with a 300% rate of success and killed 3 people.
How do you start with a 300%
Well,
rate of success?
I think that's what I'm saying. You start with 3 people, 2 of which had no idea they were going to be a part of it. So going in, you had a 100% success rate for each person involved, is where they get the
Oh,
300%.
is that okay?
It's that way I
I just
take it.
think the math doesn't work on that.
Right.
So,
So now, Robert Liston was very renowned at the time for being the fastest surgeon the planet had ever seen. And he took great pride in that, which was ultimately why 3 people died. Uh, which was good for old Bobby Liston, because back in those days in the 1800s, and they didn't really have a lot of anesthetic. So if you're gonna have a surgery, you want that shit in and out. Get in there, do whatever you're gonna do, and take your claws out of me. So, Liston was performing a leg amputation, but worked so fast that he accidentally cut off 2 fingers on his assistant's hand. Both the patient and the assistant died later of gangrene, most likely due to the saw that he was using being unclean and just this equipment being completely unsanitized and unclean. But what about the third death, you may be asking, Paul?
I was asking exactly that.
Well, doctors and other spectators would often watch these surgeries from the gallery, which was much more up close and personal than medical galleries today. We've all seen those old medical galleries. If you haven't watched that show, The Nick, and they do a really good job of capturing what it was like back then to do surgeries, and it's actually a really good show. Kind of sucked that they only did 2 seasons, or maybe one other season beyond that. But it got cut short, and it was pretty badass. So anyway, during the procedure, Liston accidentally swiped near an elderly doctor with a blade, slicing the fabric of the doctor's suit coat. Thinking he had been cut open, the doctor went into shock and died of a subsequent heart attack. Thus, 3 people died during an operation that was meant to save 1 life.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack here.
There's a lot.
Yeah, first off, the guy's cutting somebody's leg off. Okay, that's got to happen. But that's typically an emergency surgery, I think. And you know what happened? They had an emergency like, hey, everybody, we're going to cut this guy's leg off right now. Come and look. You know, did they wait until they sold tickets to feed the gallery to cut this guy's leg off?
Nobody would pay. Nobody gave a shit about surgeries back then. I mean, it's just people that were invested in it, like surgeons and shit. Nobody else gave a fuck, really.
So, now the next question is he went so fast that he cut off 2 of the fingers on the assistant's hand. And I'm wondering, that's like
shooting from the hip.
That's like samurai sword fast. I gotta say, if I was the assistant, as soon as I felt the saw, I'd be like, stop, you're cutting me. How did he get through 2 fingers before he realized that this was occurring? Then the third thing that occurs to me, and I think this is probably every doctor I've ever met has been pretty cool-headed and can handle themselves under pressure. And you've got this doctor who's obviously been a doctor a while.
He's fastest.
And he's so afraid that he got cut that he has a heart attack. Yeah, there's a lot happening here.
Well, that doctor's probably already watched him cut the dude's fingers off and just completely fuck everything up. And was just sitting there going, this dude's out of control. And then all of a sudden, you see this reckless, dirty hand covered in blood, slice at you. And as a doctor, you know how sharp that scalpel is. And so you're probably like, oh, my God.
Oh, he's got me. He's got me.
This is how I die.
Yeah.
This is how.
I think that's probably it, Dan. I think you probably went into the whole, I'm next, Yeah. Wow, that's impressive stats, killing 3 people in one operation. It really is. That guy.
It's unheard of.
He deserves some sort of an award.
I don't know what happened to him. I don't have that information. I'm assuming he wasn't allowed to do anything else ever inside of a surgical environment. Ever.
Well, let's hope that. What was this guy's name?
Robert Liston.
Robert Liston. It's
Yep. Old Bobby Liston. Right. Surgeon in the 1800s.
Dr. Robert Liston.
Just you ask the Google bot and it will tell you.
I went to the instant expert stick. Let's see. He was a British surgeon.
He was that. And the fastest.
Let's see. When speed made a difference in terms of pain and survival. Let's see, career. Let's go to the career mode on this.
I'll let anybody who's watching just try to discern who we're going to talk about here next while her picture's up.
Let's see. In 1832 and 33, he was in London. He was elected to the as a fellow to the Royal Society in 1841. So it seems that what year did this happen?
What's that, Paul? I was checking the live stream again. Just make sure we're not
What
fucking
what
up.
what year did he kill 3 people? Was it
It doesn't
operation?
say. It just says Robert Liston was a surgeon in the 1800s. You know, I should probably
Oh,
prepare myself a little bit more for this kind of thing and just have a few documents on hand to pilfer through, because
well,
naturally people are going to want to know more.
he went on to become a fellow of the Royal Society in England. So it seems to be like maybe the English were like, "Oh, you killed 3 Yanks, no
Three
problem."
Yanks. You're still the fastest.
It's you're still so fast that you take off people's hands with the saw
That
before they can stop you.
that has value, Robert. You know, no matter how good you were up to that point, no matter how many successful surgeries you performed up to that point, how could anybody ever look at you ever again and go, that guy was the fastest surgeon and the best surgeon ever? No, from that point forward, you're just going to be the dipshit who killed 3 fucking people. Anything you've accomplished before then is just done.
You know, he's lucky that didn't happen in today's society. Because can you imagine the lawsuits from the person that lost a couple fingers?
Yeah, I don't know how
Like,
how well a lawsuit would have gone over in the 1800s. I mean, probably.
yeah, I don't think anybody would have gotten anything then. But geez, these days he'd have to go to England and work after that.
Yeah. Yeah. So this picture we have here, this is going to be the next one we talk about. This is Princess Catullan, if I'm saying that right, and I probably am not. But I've talked about her before. It's a pretty unbelievable story. It's very hard for me to swallow it, but we'll get into it. So this is a descendant of Genghis Khan. Now, wow. Genghis Khan, that's an impressive son of a bitch right there. What are we going to do today, Genghis? Well, what we do every fucking day. We're going to try to take over the
Plan to take
world.
over the world. Yeah, and he did it.
He pretty much did it.
This guy, it's like him and the Roman Empire. Like, it's kind of down between like him, Alexander the Great, and the Roman Empire. That's
That was all
just
happening at the same time, pretty much.
yeah,
Within the same,
exactly.
yeah.
And they were all kind of battling for world domination. He was pretty grabby with the land and the people.
Yeah,
Old Genghis, he just took what he
he
wanted.
did. Oh, he didn't have Netflix or Prime Video or anything. You know, what do? You just go out and kill and conquer.
Yeah, well, I think that the killing probably stemmed from the fact that he lived in Mongolia and mostly ate food that was based on horse milk.
Do you think that's where it came from? Like just a
I
bad
think
case
I
of indigestion?
I think there was just anger. He was like, "Hey, can I not get a rutabaga? Is there not some fish available? We're eating horse milk stew again." You
Yeah, well, I
know,
just want an omelet. Can you not make a fucking omelet?
just give me some fucking toast, man. I just
Something,
want something different.
something that doesn't have any of that milk in it. That shit's disgusting. It turns my guts. I'll spend fucking the next 6 weeks killing motherfuckers because I can't get over the indigestion. I'm miserable all the time. All right, so Princess Catullan, she was an avid wrestler, right? And this chick was she was no joke. She was very good at archery as well. So she was one of those people that could basically go side saddle and even hang from the side of her horse and hit anything with a bow and arrow. She was just deadly. But she was also very skilled at hand-to-hand combat and wrestling. And so she talked old Papa. Well, Papa wanted to marry her off, right? Naturally. And she said, "Well, no, Papa. I cannot bed down with a man. I can't be with any man unless they can beat me in hand-to-hand combat. I'm not trying to bang some fucking simp or some cuck. If he can't lay down the law and smack me around a little bit, I got nothing for him. So,
I think she's probably it's probably just a family tradition, because
no.
I don't think Genghis would have put up with it if she'd have married, an accountant. So,
Well, it was totally her call. 100%. She was like, I'm not fucking marrying any man who can't just manhandle me, take me down. So she made a deal with old pops and said, listen, um, here's how I want it to go. If they want my hand in marriage, they challenge me to hand combat. If they can beat me, I'll marry him. If not, then you'll get like 100 horses. So everybody who wants to come in and wrestle me, they got to put up 100 horses. So if they win, they get me. If they lose, they give you 100 horses. So, yeah, so this is basically what this is saying is each time a suitor wanted to challenge Catullan, she required them to wager some of their horses in case she was the winner. It's said that she had thousands, if not 10,000 horses by the time that she died, and she was never married, indicating that no one ever beat her in hand-to-hand combat. It's so hard for me to believe that.
that's not as hard to believe as the fact that her father just allowed her to bring all these random horses home. Like, hey, who's going to take care of these horses? Who's going to pick up the poop? I wouldn't have let my daughter get a puppy.
Well, they got slaves. They probably got entire villages of slaves cleaning up horse shit.
I'm thinking, gosh, that's a lot of money in horse food. How about you just get married, handle your own fucking horses?
Yeah, here's someone playing her in Marco Polo on Netflix, which was a pretty good. I mean, I watched the first season, I enjoyed it. I didn't watch beyond that, but you know,
I was not able to stomach it. I stopped after like 6 minutes.
6 minutes is all you gave it.
I'm gonna say it was 6 minutes. It was somewhere close to that.
How dare you? How dare
I couldn't
you,
do it.
Paul? This is Marco Polo. This is a big part of our history.
It's
Six
got
minutes.
fuck all to do with our history. It's got something to do with world history.
Oh,
It's
well,
got,
that's
it's got
still
nothing
kind of
to
our
do with
history.
United States history.
You know.
It's got nothing. History of the human race. It's got nothing to do with United States history.
So you're saying that the world history has nothing to do with United States history?
Well, not for beyond about the past 350 years. No.
Well, to each their own. Paul, it's your life. You can fuck it up however you want to fuck it up.
Thank you.
That's how I put the live streams on now. I basically say join us or don't join us. It's your life. You can do whatever the fuck you want with it.
Yeah, I'm still thinking that you know that's a lot of horses. She won a lot of wrestling matches. Can you imagine if she was around today and she was in this women's UFC
It's
that they
so
have
unbelievable.
now? Yeah.
No man back then could show up and just slap her around and give her a rear naked choke or pick her up and drop her on her fucking head. I don't believe that. I'm so sorry. I don't get it. So there must have been other politics involved. There had to be. It's like you just know going in, if I beat her, well, for one, I'm stuck with her. And two, maybe Genghis probably won't like that. He won't like me coming in and just beating beating the brakes off of his cousin, niece, or whatever it was.
You know, I, the whole story. I kind of think this came from the Onion.
No, it didn't. It's. I've actually read about this shit before. It's a big
Wow.
part of history. Like I said, they even had the character there in Marco Polo because it's just such a big deal, such a big part of history.
Well, okay.
You know who that is?
No.
You don't recognize Mad Jack Churchill?
No.
This guy was a fucking lunatic. Absolute lunatic. And I think I'd be the same way if I was in World War II. You know, I can't imagine signing up to be in World War II. Maybe there wasn't a lot going on back then. Maybe like, you know what I need? I need some war in my life. Is what I need. I need to go
I,
off and just start killing some motherfuckers or be killed.
I I've never met anybody who would just say in the course of general conversation, I need some more in my life. I need to kill some folks. Well, I mean, nobody that was well adjusted anyway. You know?
Well, that's really up to kind of the eye of the beholder. Back in the day, it was nothing to walk around with a sword on your back and some armor on, and if some dude popped something off or he looked like somebody you didn't like, lop his fucking head off. And then, like the little kids walking down the road, their mom would be like, "Oh, kids, watch out for the head. Mind the head now." I mean, completely
So
different
Michigan.
mindset. You know,
So Michigan.
so Michigan, what they do in Michigan that I'm completely unaware of. But,
Oh, nothing. I'm just, yeah, you were talking about that, and I was just thinking about Michigan.
war is a part of our, it's a part of our genetic code. We enjoy
Uh,
killing. We enjoy watching killing. We enjoy, and by we I do mean everyone. There's a small part of everyone who has a little bit of a fascination with death, killing, murdering, you know, all that nasty shit.
um, yeah, no,
No, not you.
no, no. I don't think killing is good. I'll kill a mouse. I'll kill a spider. If a garter snake gets in my apartment, I'll stop it. Okay, but when it comes to people, no, I think killing people is wrong.
Just because they're people, or
Yeah, I think actually killing things is wrong. Basically, if you have ears, I don't think you should be killed.
okay, that's okay. So if
So
you got ears, you're safe. Paul doesn't
yeah,
wish death upon you.
that's pretty much it. Yeah, if you've got ears, you're safe.
All right, so Mad Jack Churchill, a British excuse me, God, I wish I could speak today. Mad Jack Churchill, a British Army officer during World War II, was famous for going into battle with a longbow, a broadsword, and bagpipes.
No, so the bagpipes I actually get. Bagpipes were used in military conflicts for a long time because obviously they're loud, but you can hear bagpipes really well. You know, they can be tremendously loud, and the sound will carry for quite a distance. And I know that the Scots armies use them. You know, they can be heard over gunfire and the sounds of battle. So
Well,
used to
according to Mad
direct
Jack, it was an absolute
stuff.
must. I'm not going and slaughtering motherfuckers without my bagpipes. They need to hear this shit coming.
You know, being a guy who loves music, I could say I understand. You know, chances are good if he'd had an electric guitar back then. He's like, you know, I'm gonna jam while we kill people.
Yeah, so they know when you hear those bagpipes, bad shit's coming.
You know, do you think that if someone else touched his bagpipes, he slapped him around and screamed, you know, rule number one, you never touch another
I
man's
just,
axe?
if you saw this dude in action, running and storming beaches with nothing but a fucking sword, a war cry, and his bagpipes on his back. You just see him slaughtering mofos all day, standing with grenades going off around him playing bagpipes because he did that. You know, he would. People would be dying all around him and grenades going off everywhere, and he's just playing his bagpipes. I don't think you'd ever want to touch his fucking bagpipes. I think you'd just be like, "Look, dude, those are some good looking bagpipes. May I touch them?" Or just not ask at all.
I think this is probably in the days before roadies, you know, because I think if you had a roadie, the roadie would have been like, dude, I totally don't mind hauling your bagpipes around, but we're going into battle. Fuck you.
Check him out. He's right here storming the beach with a sword out. He's just a stud.
Nice.
Just a stud.
Yeah, I got to give it up for this guy. They clank when he walks. You know?
They do. They do. He lived through it all. So Churchill participated in a number of raids throughout the war, including one in Norway where he jumped off the landing craft playing March of the Cameron Man, on his bagpipes before throwing a grenade and charging into battle. In 1944, he was captured in Yugoslavia after the rest of his command was injured or killed by mortar fire. As the last man standing, Churchill played Will Ye No Come Back Again on his bagpipes before being knocked unconscious by a grenade. He was taken to the Sachsenhausen concentration camp, but escaped, along with a Royal Air Force officer shortly after. Both of them were recaptured and remained at the camp until the next year when German soldiers overthrew the SS and released the prisoners at the camp. After the war, Churchill retired and appeared as an extra in the 1950 movie Ivanhoe.
You know, I gotta wonder, did they let him have his bagpipes at the concentration camp? Or do they know you're all starving to death and getting killed? You don't get those.
Well, maybe, the Germans got bored with torturing, murdering, gassing, raping, and they were like, you know what this needs, what this rape really needs? Some bagpipes.
Bagpipe music.
But this hardcore motherfucker would be like, yeah, I'll play some bagpipes for you, and then just kill everyone with just using his bagpipes.
What I love is they said he was playing the bagpipes and was knocked unconscious from a grenade. That this ballsy son of a bitch was standing on the beach playing the bagpipes with people throwing fucking grenades at him. This guy, he's boldness doesn't start to cover.
Yeah, and I highly recommend anybody looking up old Mad Jack, because there are some unbelievable stories that I'm not even covering here. That this dude was a whole other level of human being. It's like as soon as he was born, he was like, "Where are they at? Where are they?
I'm gonna kill everybody. Where's my bagpipes?"
Yeah. It's like, but like I said earlier, it's like I guess I could kind of relate to, when you're in such an insane situation as World War II was, you have to, I think, just accept the fact that you're going to die. Just know that right away, that your life is over with. So how do you want to go out? And he was like, I'm taking a fucking sword and some bagpipes, and I'm going to die, but I'm going to do it in fucking man style.
Exactly, and he's a Brit, and you have to remember that the Britons since 1914 had been suffering with war, and so I think probably he just came up, and probably the people in his family, they're like, look, you're gonna have to kill everybody, and he said, but I really want to play bagpipes, Dad. His dad was like, I don't care what you want to do, you're gonna have to kill people. And he was like, but can I kill people and play the bagpipes? And his dad was like, I don't give a fuck about the bagpipes, but goddamn it, you better be killing some people. And he just figured that he could, his two great loves, bagpipes and slaughter.
Slaughtering and bagpipes, both at the same time, if I can help it.
It's which is actually a little bit hard to do because it takes two hands to play the bagpipes. So I wonder, did he like? This is the kind of guy that would stick the sword in his armpit and he's swinging it around.
Could you imagine he just hacking on people with that sword? Fuck my gun. I'm just gonna.
I'm giving it up for this guy. This guy, he deserves a statue. He really does.
He's got one. Don't quote me on that, 'cause I don't know. But if anybody deserves a damn statue.
I think so. I think he deserves a statue.
All right, moving on. We got a couple more, and then we're going to be wrapping her up. So, the Polish army enlisted a bear as a soldier during World War II. So you got Mad Jack on one side, with his bagpipes, his sword, and I'm just going to slaughter everybody while playing a good ditty. And then you've got the Polacks with an enlisted bear. He was actually enlisted. He had his own rank and everything. He was a private.
I wonder what was his benefit package.
Dog shit.
Did he get out?
Dog shit.
Did he get the GI Bill and go to college? The bear I kind of like the bear. I haven't read this, but you need to break this down for us,
Oh, I
Dan.
will. Check him out there in the trench. He's right there.
Nice,
Oh wow, they're firing off
nice.
mortars, and they got a bear as backup, I guess. Get the bear in there with us. And no one's gonna charge. No one's gonna charge this trench. They'll get eaten by a fucking bear if they do.
If we get overrun, it's fine. We've got the bear.
So yeah, Polish soldiers found a bear cub whose mother had been killed by hunters by the side of the road. One of the soldiers took the bear in and named him Wojtek. Woj. Wojtek. Wojtek.
They pronounce that Wojtek.
Or, Wojtek. So Wojtek, and he was trained in part by a civilian refugee, and Wojtek was eventually enlisted as a soldier in the Polish army in order to get him on a British transport ship and given his own paperwork, serial number, and rank. He was a private. He would often sleep in bunks with the other soldiers, and he was said to be very fond of beer and cigarettes. He even performed. He even performed actual work by helping transport supplies, including heavy boxes and ammunition. So he pulled his weight. After the war, he was placed in the Edinburgh Zoo, where he lived out the rest of his days as a legend until he died at age 21. I don't know what the average age is for a bear.
No
I'm
idea.
gonna have to look
But
that
I
up.
do.
I gotta know.
I do know that this obviously happened before PETA.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. Long before that.
You couldn't do something like this today. I actually saw a commercial the other day on the television, and it was literally raining cats and dogs. Cats and dogs are falling out of the sky, and they had to put a disclaimer on there that said no animals were harmed, and they were all petted.
Right.
Like, and I kind of dig this bear, and I got to dig the commanding officer of this unit too. That was like, yeah, it's a totally dangerous bear, but bring him along.
Well, can you imagine being on the opposite side? You see, they got a fucking bear? Is that a bear? They've got a bear.
Yeah. As for an intimidation factor, I think it really works well because they're calling from the trench, be like, hey, if you don't quit shooting at us, we're sending this fucking bear.
There he is drinking a beer.
It's pretty sweet that the bear liked beer.
I think grizzly bears like just about anything they can put in their mouth. But yeah,
Uh, I don't know about the cigarettes so much.
he is driving around,
Well, go cruising.
pulling his weight.
I,
This is where he's hauling the ammunition for him. He just drove it. We assumed it was on his back, but he just drove the shit around.
he went full Yogi, man.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So 20 to 25 years for the lifespan on a bear.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
So
20, 25 years.
so what that means is he lived a normal bear lifespan. So obviously war isn't bad on bears. Is I guess the answer we're supposed to get.
Looks like he had a great time and was a comrade. Like. So, I've been in a similar situation, which is strange to say, but it's true. Not that you should believe anything I ever say, because I really spent some fucking yarns. But this is true. Well, when I was in my early 20s, I lived with my sister in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, and I didn't have a job. And I went out and I got a job through a temp service. I believe it was like PenMac or Manpower or something. And this old man had a machine shop, and it was like part of his house. He had a little warehouse kind of attached to the back of his house, and he had some machines in there where we basically made parts and whatnot in a machine shop. Well, this crazy old fucker had a Timberwolf for a pet, and had raised the Timberwolf his whole life, and so this was a full-grown Timberwolf. And it was a very small space that we worked in. I mean, the machine shop on the back of some dude's house, you can imagine, it's pretty small. There was, 2 or 3 CNC machines in there. And he would let the wolf in there with us. And it wasn't like, hey, you mind if my wolf comes in here? It was like, my wolf does whatever the fuck my wolf wants to do, and if you want to work here, you will shut your fucking mouth and go. And he was a complete asshole, this guy. And it was just so strange and kind of majestic to be around a Timberwolf, but also very frightening because wolves do whatever the fuck wolves want to do. They're not like dogs, okay? You know, they'll they'll agree to be an acquaintance of yours, especially if you're feeding them and stuff. But they're not just going to come sit in your lap and snuggle up to you and be your buddy. It's a partnership with a wolf. It's a, motherfucker, am I over there petting you? Then why are you gonna try to come over here and pet me? You know?
Yeah, you're saying it's a partnership with a wolf. That's a pretty one-sided partnership. Man.
Yeah, because the wolf could just tear your face off if he wants to. And what are you gonna do?
It's much like having a cat. I think for anybody who listens who has a cat, owning a cat is kind of really it's giving your life and your property to the cat. One of my friends said something pretty wise about it. He said, dogs have masters, cats have staff. Wolves have people who are held hostage.
Yeah.
So I have to wonder if the wolf decided it was going to eat your leg and you were screaming, would the machine shop guy be like, "Shut up, he'll quit when he's done"?
Probably. That's the impression that I got. Was that if my wolf decides to eat you, I don't want to fucking hear about it. I don't want to hear your bitchy, whiny attitude. It's a wolf. Wolves do what wolves do. And we'll get you some medical attention or whatever, or not. He'll just finish. But, don't be a little bitch. Don't be a little bitch.
We'll get you some Robitussin. Get that tussin up in it.
Yeah, and it was so creepy because the wolf was like such a ninja. It would stalk around, and you'd have your back to everyone doing your, making some parts, drilling some shit down. I was never a good machinist. And you turn around, and it always stayed about 8 to 10 feet away from you and just would watch you. So you just turn around, and it's just standing there with its head down, watching you.
Drooling.
Just like that, just watching you.
Salivating.
Yeah. And you couldn't be like, "Hey, buddy, you want to come here?" or whatever. No. And then if you got close, it would back up a little bit.
So this is not the kind of job where you would want to have a beef jerky snack in your pocket.
I never considered that. And now thinking back on it, I don't know if I ever did have anything that the wolf would want to eat on me.
I mean, if you stopped at McDonald's on the way to work and got yourself a couple cheeseburgers and only ate one and put the other one in your pocket for later,
I bet you'd think twice.
Really
we probably thought twice about that. We probably did at the time. Like, yeah, I don't know if you want to carry that half-eaten sandwich. Of course, I've never really been prone to carry half-eaten food in my pockets, but
I do, because I'll eat it later.
I'm not here to judge anyone, but
people that have worked with me know that I'll sometimes just randomly pull a McDonald's cheeseburger out of a pocket and eat it.
Well, it's just something we've kind of all come to accept about Paul Dalton. He'll pull a snack out of his asshole, and it may have actually been inside his asshole.
Yeah, well, that's where they stay warm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's kind of like your own little. Well, some people call it God's pocket.
That's nature's pocket.
Exactly. So what we have here is not just a picture of any ordinary kitty cat.
That's a good looking cat.
What kind of cat is that? Is that a tabby cat? What's
That's a tuxedo cat. They call that a tuxedo cat.
Why? Just because of black and white?
The black and white. That cat's. I mean, Dan, I'm just gonna say it. That cat's gangster as fuck. Like, look at the look he's giving you. Like, yes, I'm stoned. What are you gonna do about it?
Well, what you don't know about that picture is he's actually on a ship, right? This is the renowned kitty cat, Unsinkable Sam. So there was a cat who started in the Nazi Navy in World War II. Then became a ship's cat in the British Royal Navy and survived 3 sinking ships during his naval service.
It's a smart
That
cat.
or kitty cats got those 9 lives. Maybe that was only 3 of them.
That's
Unsinkable Sam was the nickname given to this cat. Well, his real name was Oscar, but we'll get to that here in a minute. So Unsinkable Sam was the nickname given to this cat, who was actually named Oscar. Oh, yeah, dude. He started as a ship's cat aboard the Nazi ship Bismarck, which was sunk by the British ship HMS Cossack in 1941. The British crew found the cat floating on a board hours after the ship sank, took him aboard, and named him Oscar. Later in the war, the Cossack sank after being hit by a torpedo, killing 159 crew members. Oscar survived again and was rescued along with the remaining crew and given the nickname Unsinkable Sam. His last service was aboard the HMS Ark Royal, probably just Ark Royal, an aircraft carrier that was also torpedoed, this time by a Nazi U-boat. Oscar survived that attack as well, and afterward retired to Belfast, where he lived in a seaman's home. Oscar died in 1955, a full 14 years after the sinking of the Bismarck.
This cat did more with its life than I have.
Yes, yes, he has. Just by being just by being a kitty cat, willing to sail the open seas, as it were.
And I mean, what a place for a cat on a ship. Because there's mice and rats on those
and they
ships.
Can't go anywhere.
So the cat is like engaged in a constant hunting game. It looks like it's a pretty good cat, man.
Well, look at the intelligence in its eyes. It's like, listen, motherfucker, I've survived 3.
Like,
What do you got? What do you got for me? Nothing.
What do you think you're gonna do to me, you son of a bitch? Clean my cat box.
Here he is, his little kitty cat, little kitten. The men appreciate having
He's
the
a good
company.
looking cat.
Yeah.
That's it. I personally I love cats. I think cats are great. He's got a hammock there. That's pretty sweet. They made him his own bunk.
Well, he's a fucking hero, right?
I've never heard of Unsinkable Sam before this, but I gotta say, I think Disney needs to do a movie.
Oh, absolutely. Kind of like Rambo, but with the cat, Unsinkable Sam. They could spend such a huge yarn about that, because it only has to be based on something true. So
it's pretty sweet though that and I think this just goes to prove that cats are pretty smart, because this cat had 3 boats sink and he somehow survived. I probably couldn't survive 1 boat sinking.
No, I'd be the first one to die. I'm such a pessimist. I'd be like, well, it's all over. We're dead.
And I'm so lazy that I'd just look at you and go, we should just do what we do best and give up.
Yeah. Yeah. Unless I saw a bunch of people survive it, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to survive this. But if the majority of people were like, we're fucked, I'd be like, yes, we are. We are absolutely fucked.
Yeah, we're just screwed.
I just be trying to figure out how I'm going to go out. I'm like, well, do I drown myself here, or is there anything? Can I use any of this, these broken up pieces of wood to maybe cut open an artery? I don't want to starve. I don't.
Yeah. I don't know that going over the side is a good idea. I don't like the idea of being eaten by a shark. But I do like this cat. This cat, I think, actually missed his calling. He should have been hanging out with the guy with the bagpipes.
Oh, that'd be a hell of a pair. Kind of like Mad Max, but old Mad Churchill and his fucking Unsinkable Sam. Well, shit, that sounds like a ring to it.
That's. I think if you had old Unsinkable Sam and Mad Jack together, that's kind of an unbeatable combo, man.
I honestly think that it is. Yes, it is. Now, that's a wrap for the 6 that we've got, but I got a bonus one that you and I should just comment on. before we
Whip it
wrap it
out.
up. And
Whip it out. Show it
it's
to
a
me.
guy in a situation that, like I was saying, if I was in this dude's situation, I'd have been like, I'm gonna die. And there's nothing that anybody's gonna tell me that's any different than this. I'm gonna fucking die.
Oh, show it to me.
Oh, I'm gonna show it to you. All right, you're gonna see it. You're gonna
Whip it
you're gonna
out.
see it as I show it.
Tell me about it.
Well,
Do it with your mouth.
I am gonna do it with my mouth. That's the only way you can do these is with your mouth, unless you're into sign language, which I'm not.
Do it with your mouth.
Wow, you rehearsed that, didn't you?
No. You might want to save that audio clip.
Oh yeah, I try not to throw anything away.
Oh my.
Wake up, old man.
You know, I'm still laughing about the guy with the latex arm that went to get the COVID vaccination. Like, why did you go if you weren't going to get the shot? The guy has a latex arm goes to get the COVID vaccination. You know, just don't get it. Like, oh.
Guy with the fake arm.
Yeah, it's just that deal. I've been laughing about it for days. I'm thinking, who forced you to get the COVID vaccination so that you were like, I don't want it. I'm going to go in there with a fake arm.
Yeah, that's a lot of planning. Why don't you just say no? Well, I guess just some places, companies now require you to have it, whether you like it or not.
I think they said now that if you're over 100 employees, they can require it. I don't follow it too much. I'm trying not to watch music.
All right, so
I'm trying to not to watch news.
that's gonna be tough since you get 3 hours of it a day. Maybe you just cut back to like 20 minutes.
I actually haven't been watching any.
That's kind of the motto I live by. If something's really bad's happening, it'll show up on my door probably. Like somebody would come, hey man, a bomb went off in the middle of Springfield. What are you doing? Well, I was taking a nap.
I thought I heard something.
I thought I heard a boom, people screaming and shit, but it's in Springfield, Missouri. What do you? I don't get riled up about every little thing. All right, so
yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
If the blood isn't on my front steps, it's not really my problem.
Exactly. Not my problem until it absolutely 100% has to be my problem. All right, so this old boy here was in a tugboat, and it went under, capsized, and he was in the middle of the ocean. No help was ever going to come. Nobody even knew where he was at. And he was there for quite a while, and then some people decided to go diving somewhere or whatever, and they find this thing completely upside down underneath the water, and the diver goes through and swims up into this underwater U-boat and starts, feeling around and stuff, and then you imagine that it's completely dark and you're just kind of trying to feel your way along, and then all of a sudden you feel a leg or something, and it starts to move, and you're like, oh, what the fuck, what is that? And you come up just like this dude does here, and you find this guy who's just sitting there going, what is happening right now? Am I really being rescued? What the fuck?
What you doing on my boat, dude?
I mean, at this point, he'd been there for like a long time. I want to say a few weeks.
Wow. It's I have to wonder what happened there, because there's not enough oxygen in there. First off, he's cold because he's been half submerged for, weeks. Geez, can you imagine how pruned up his feet are?
Yeah, because when you look at it, there's nowhere really to get up out of the water completely in this little tight area.
It's amazing that he survived. I don't know how long he was there, but it's pretty amazing that he survived. So that's Well, this guy needs a statue. Uh, I'm big on statues. He needs one. Him, the cat, the bagpipes guy. We've gone through a lot of people that deserve statues tonight.
Yeah, because there's nothing
Uh,
that says forever like a statue.
yes. I have to wonder what would go through your mind in a situation like that. And again, yeah, I have no idea how he got through it. It's that guy's got a mind like a diamond.
Isn't that like a Shakira song?
I hope so.
A mind like a diamond? I don't know.
Uh, I this guy, I gotta give it up for this guy because again, I'm so lazy. That'd be like, oh, I'll just give up.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up this little. Okay, so
just gonna,
we're gonna get the
just gonna give up and
deets.
slip
We're gonna get
under.
the deets on this. So in Wari, Nigeria, uh, this guy had survived 3 days, so not 3 weeks, 3 days. I was a few weeks off. 3 days though, in an upside down tugboat at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. And then he saw lights in the water. Air bubbles rose around the cook as he squatted in an air pocket. A diver was coming. Rescue seemed imminent for Harrison O'Keen. But then the lights disappeared. Desperate, O'Keen swam through pitch dark waters in the sunken boat to grab the diver. O'Keen couldn't find him, and with the air in his lungs giving out, he swam back to the cabin that held his precious but dwindling pocket of air. In an exclusive interview with the Associated Press, O'Keen described the ordeal and his miraculous rescue that was videotaped, and which, of course, went viral after it was put on the interweb. The 29-year-old still has nightmares and vows to never return to the sea again. He has taken a new job as a cook on firm ground. O'Keen was the only survivor in a crew of 12 when the boat capsized in May of, I believe, 2020. It still haunts him. In addition, with being saddled with survivor's guilt, some Nigerians believe he saved himself through black magic. The Jaskin 4 was resting on the seabed upside down at a depth of over 100 feet, 30 meters. The chubby cook survived on only one bottle of Coke. 2 flashlights that he had found gave up after less than 1 day. So the flashlights he found were useless after 1 day. In the dark, he had almost given up hope after 3 days when he suddenly heard the sound of a boat hammering on the side of the vessel, and then after a while saw lights in the rising waters around him bubbling. He said he knew it had to be a diver, blah, blah, blah. He came in, but he was too fast, so I saw the light, but before I could get to him, he was already out. I tried to follow him in the pitch darkness, got lost. His rescuers from the Dutch company DCN Diving were looking only for bodies, and already had recovered 4 corpses when they came upon O'Keen. When the diver returned, O'Keen had to swim again to reach him, and still he did not see him. So I tapped him on the back of his neck, and he was afraid. When the diver saw his hand, he said, "Corpse, corpse, corpse," into his microphone, reporting up to the rescue vessel. When he brought his hand close to me, I pulled on his hand. O'Keen said, "He's alive, he's alive, he's alive," O'Keen remembers hearing. O'Keen described a surreal scene after the diver emerged into the air pocket. I knew when he gave me water he was observing me to see if I'm really human, because he was afraid. The diver first used hot water to warm him up, then attached him to an oxygen mask. Once saved from the sunken boat, he was put into a decompression chamber for 60 hours before he could safely return to the surface. Until his rescue, O'Keen believed his colleagues must have escaped. The tug was one of 3 towing a Chevron oil tank in Nigeria's oil-rich delta waters, but on May 26 there was a sudden lurch and it keeled over. I heard people shouting. I felt the vessel going down. I heard a voice saying, "Is this vessel sinking or what?" I was in the WC, the toilet, and the WC fell on my head. Things started falling on my head. My colleagues were shouting, God help me, God help me, God help me. Then, after a while, I never heard from them again. When the recounting of the rescue at his local church, the pastor asked him if he had used black magic to survive. I was so surprised. How could a man of God be saying this? O'Keen said, his voice rising in disbelief. He didn't go to the funerals of his colleagues because he feared their families' reactions. Nigerians being generally very religious about all super that's very religious but also superstitious. I couldn't go because I didn't know what the family would say, thinking why is he the only one to survive? It's a question that has shaken his steadfast faith. Every week I ask God, why only me? Why did my colleagues have to die? Well, that's a good question, O'Keen. Why you?
Yeah,
Why you?
can you imagine the reaction of the diver?
I'd shit my
You're diving a
pants. Yeah,
boat.
it's at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean.
You're 100 foot down. You're down there to do body recovery. Your company has been contracted in to come and do the body recovery, see if the vessel can be saved. See if the vessel can be salvaged. And here you are going through looking for bodies, and something taps you on the back of the neck.
Insane.
I I would, yeah, I'd poop myself, man. I would. Yeah, be like, oh God, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna die.
Yeah, and you're like, yeah, observing him. It's like, this, what the fuck? Like, hey, this dude's alive. Or am I hallucinating? Have I
Well,
lost some oxygen? Have I, what's the gas that they use or whatever what is that stuff that divers use? So that it's got to be a
um,
mixture of oxygen and something else. Having a huge
yeah, they
brain
use.
fart out here.
Yeah, I know they have some mixed gases that they use.
Yeah, we're not
Yeah.
divers,
So they
folks.
take
Okay, we're not. I'm not a diver.
they take him out. They take him out and they put him in a decompression chamber, which you would have to because he's been 100 foot underwater for 3 days,
Right.
and so therefore yeah, he would have the bends for sure. But you know, wow, what a story! Yeah,
It's just unreal.
it's
I mean, like from both sides, right? Like you said, the diver had to be shitting his pants. You go into a boat that you're just pulling dead bodies out of, and and it's
and
kind of
some
like one of
taps
those
you
what
on the
they
back
said
of the
about
neck.
it back in the day when a bunch of Brits started coming over to this newfound land, and the Native Americans would see them, but it wouldn't register with them because they had never seen boats, they had never seen white people, so they would actually kind of walk around and not acknowledge what they were seeing for a few days because they just didn't trust their brains. They couldn't process it. So when the diver saw him the first time, he was probably like, "Well, I'm not going to accept that as a real thing. I'm just going to go. I'm going to go back and check this other room here." And it starts tapping on you. No, I don't think so. No. Oh
You
fuck!
know,
This dude. There's this person in here.
zombies, it's all real.
Of course, he is Nigerian, and that they have black magic, voodoo, whatever
I,
stereotype you want to throw at it. But yeah, I
I
mean,
think I think it's very sad that he was because well, he was incredibly lucky, and he's got he's got some abilities that I don't have, like the ability to sit in the dark for 2 days knowing that you're going to die.
yeah,
Because I'm guessing that if you talk to him, that he would tell you, yeah, I knew I was going to die. You
yeah,
know, uh, I think after the first day, after the flashlights quit, you'd kind of be like, well, the flashlights are gone, and
yeah. I think
bottle of
I think
Coke,
the only
delicious, that's
yeah,
gone.
and I think the only light we're seeing here is from the diver. I think he was just in complete darkness. I know
Yeah, I
light
believe
sources
so.
from the diver in that video.
I think I think it would be pretty easy to give up pretty fast. Then again, I am a giver
That's
upper.
what I'm
You know,
saying. Me and you we're on the same page there. But
I'm
how do
I'm
you?
pretty give up.
That's the other question I have. Like, how do you give up in a situation like that? Do you look around for something sharp to slit an artery open? Do you swim to the bottom and just hold on to something? and willingly drown yourself, which has got to be hard to do. Your body would
I
fight
think
that whole process. Be like, no, motherfucker, no.
I'm so lazy that just giving up is really easy for me. I just be like, okay, it's over.
Yeah, but then
And
you
then I
know
just
you're
went.
gonna starve. It's gonna take days for you to die.
Well, I'd probably have to eat my foot.
They said, and it wasn't in the article, but he was actually filtering ocean water and drinking it. Because the salt content of ocean water is pretty stout. It's enough to dehydrate you. So the more you drink, you're not satisfying your thirst. You're actually dehydrating
Yeah,
yourself. But this guy drank it for 3 days, and he just filtered it through a shirt. I'm sure he had some side effects, but maybe that's something you can do. He did it.
uh, so this guy, thumbs up. Hey, he's a gutsy fucker. Yeah, him and the cat and the bagpipes guy.
Oh man, statues everywhere.
Statues. Lots of
Maybe
statues.
that's what we should do. We should make statues for people who fucking deserve statues.
I don't I don't want to be a statue builder.
Sculptor, builder. Well, it's all the
I'd rather
same shit. You building something.
I'd rather just say people deserve statues. You know.
I am so with you
So
on that. I'm good at that shit too. Like, that person deserves that, and somebody should do
I can
something
totally.
about that.
Yeah, I'm really good at saying somebody should celebrate this guy. So I'm glad this guy survived,
Man, I am
and
too.
it's terrible that the rest of the people on the vessel did not. I guess I could see where he's coming from with the survivor's guilt. That he survived it and no one else did. That's probably got to be something hard to carry around. But he did. And now he's getting accused of black magic, and that's pretty awesome. Guy goes through something that's terrifying, really, if you think about
Oh
this.
god,
You're trapped on the floor of the ocean in a boat.
you're
Everybody around you
just shitting and
dead.
pissing right there in that little pocket.
Yeah, you're drinking your own pissy seawater, and this goes on for 3 days, and then you get saved by the guy who, you're lucky he didn't pull his dive knife on you when he tapped him
Oh,
on the
no
back of
doubt,
the neck,
no doubt.
and, then you get home and you'd think that the people in your village would be like, hey, somebody survived. They're like, no, you black magic using
You
son of a
black
bitch.
magic using motherfucker. You probably used all the other people's souls to survive the
Yes,
3 days. That's why they're all dead.
yes. This poor fucking guy, he can't seem to win,
I'm gonna
man.
find him. I'm gonna find
I-
him 10 years from now and go, okay, what'd you do with your life? What have you done? Just to add to that guilt.
That's not very nice.
So let me get this straight. You're the only one who survived, and you still haven't done a fucking thing with your life. How do you live with yourself?
uh, Dan, the goal isn't to get him to kill himself.
Well, obviously he's terrible at that because he couldn't pull it off in the 3 days he was there.
you know, uh, I feel I'm happy the guy survived, and it's very sad that no one else did. But it's a success story. I guess
It's
if
success.
somebody out there needs an employee that's willing to put in the time and get it done, even when it really looks like it can't happen, they can call this guy because this guy's got that in spades.
You have a very dangerous job where, well, journeyman electrician. There you go. You want to be you looking for the best of people who just won't die? Well,
that's, that's your
I
guy.
don't know how to pull wire. I don't know how to run conduit. But there was this
But I
one
don't
time
die.
where a bunch of people died and I didn't. Okay. Well,
That's a,
OSHA approved.
is that something that you put on a resume?
You have to. You got to put it everywhere.
I'm very happy the guy survived.
Yeah, I am too. I'm glad, but did if, if this is natural selection, what? Why was he selected? And like I said, we need to follow up with him. See, hey, why did you? What? Why you?
Do you think that he's now going to go on to develop interstellar travel or cure cancer or something along those lines? Like, was he saved from the soul harvest by the universe to go on and do something really important?
I guarantee you, what's gonna happen?
Or maybe he'll buy a piece of fruit that was picked by a picker that was able to keep his job because that piece of fruit was bought. And then
Right.
that picker goes on to do something really big. Maybe it's a butterfly effect.
That's what I was about to say. I'm like, you're hitting on some butterfly effect stuff.
That's kind of what I'm at here.
Maybe
I'm
one of
thinking,
his ancestors will go on to do something incredible, and they just wouldn't have been born if he hadn't survived.
maybe.
If that's the way the universe works.
Well, I hope it's time travel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are you
looking forward to time travel?
No, I just think we should get it taken care of so I can stop worrying about it.
What would you do, Paul? Let's close out the show with a hypothetical question for Paul Dalton. What would you do if you had the ability to time travel at least within your lifespan? So you can't go back before you were born. You can only go back, and if you go back to when you were 5 years old, you're still just 5 years old. You can't. You're not like, 82 like you are now. You're like 5.
Ow.
Yeah.
So you're saying that I would just literally everything would reverse and I would go back and still be me. It wouldn't be another me there looking at me being 5 years old. It would be me actually regressing all the way to 5 years old.
Right.
Wow.
Would you do it? And if so, why?
No, it was a drag the first time. I'm glad it's over.
Fair enough. We have the answer.
That's the answer I have. I don't know that fixing any one thing would fix everything. If I fixed any one thing, it'd probably screw more stuff up than's already screwed up.
Unless, you got to take into account the multiverse, and there's all these different scenarios that are all playing out right now. It's just
now. Here's the thing: is by regressing to 5 years old, do I regress to my 5-year-old self as I was then, or do I regress with the knowledge that I have now? Because if I did that, things would be fully different.
Well, I just didn't think it all the way through, and
yeah,
and I just don't know because if you went back and you were just 5-year-old Paul, and you knew everything that you know now, so you went back with all that knowledge. I don't know that
I'd kill Bill Gates.
I don't know that that's a fun scenario for me.
I would kill Bill Gates. That would be what I would do.
Well, isn't he dead? Didn't he die?
Well, yeah, but I'd kill him long ago. That's what I'm saying.
Before he builds, what is it, Skytech or what is that?
Yes. Before he starts the robot insurrection that we're currently experiencing.
Yeah. Well, maybe all this robot stuff, we'll be able to get like some robot organs. Like a nice new ticker. You know what we do need to cover? We need to cover the human head transplant.
Okay, this is something that I will research. It's important.
Let's do that. That might be our next one, just so we can.
All right.
I like having multiple things to talk about. That seems to work out pretty good, like a list of stuff. I think that's why a lot of people do lists. So one subject for an hour and a half. I don't know, but it needs to be brought up, and we need to talk about it in a future episode.
I think we need to talk about the human head transplant. I will research this. Has it been done? Is that what you're saying?
Well, let's not. No spoilers.
Okay, so one other thing that we should probably talk about is cloning, and people have done cloning to death. But I think that we need to talk about cloning because I have one question about it, which is when they can clone humans. If you kill a clone, is it murder or is it destruction of property?
What is it?
You know,
If they do what now? Oh, cloning.
if you kill somebody's clone, is it murder or is it destruction of property?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of ethical
Now,
questions there.
the reason that this is going to become important is that, I was reading somewhere that the dog that found the last victim in the 9/11 attack has now been cloned like 200 times. Like a lot of police departments and such have that same dog. They cloned the dog. Let's clone Peter Dinklage. We definitely need a date.
We do need a date. Who doesn't need a date? Who doesn't need it?
Yeah, I don't know what we could sell those for, but I know they'd fly off the shelves.
Just your own portable Dinklage.
Put that thing away, man.
This is all I'm saying, though. We started the show talking about it. I would finish the show talking about it. If I was packing that heat, like he's packing right there, I would not own a pair of pants. I would only own those shorts. Maybe a few different colors. Maybe a few different colors, but
I have to wonder, do you then go into McDonald's and just like stand in line and scratch it, just to piss people off?
you might catch a charge for that, though.
If you like putting itches.
Yeah. Yeah, you might catch a charge for that.
This poor bastard.
I think that most restaurants would be like, sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. And it's like, why? I'm just here. Your shorts.
Just trying to buy a hamburger,
those shorts. While they're not against the law, sir, on you, they kind of should be. There's children here, old people. I know you're not naked. I know. You're not really technically breaking any laws, but for the sake of the kids, just go put some fucking... Wear something else. Anything. Overalls.
We're going to give you an apron.
Yeah, and I would have to be conscientious of that, too, if I was packing that kind of heat. I wouldn't be, like, going somewhere where like Chuck E. Cheese and shit. I would just try to keep it to where, like, a nightclubs and shit. Like somewhere where I knew it was nothing but adults. So no one innocent would have to see it.
Yeah, movie theaters, Taco Bell.
Yeah. Because when you start thinking of the kids, you think, okay, yeah, that's pretty fucked up. That's kind of sick.
You probably don't want to hang out at the park.
No. No, because if they show up and it's just a bunch of kids and you're hanging out, maybe you're biking around the park or whatever. It's totally natural, nothing untoward in your mind at all. You just want to go out and ride your fucking bike. But then you notice that, you're getting pulled over by some police and they got some questions for you. And you're looking around and you're going, oh shit, there's nothing but me and some kids having fun playing out here. What the fuck? Yeah, I mean, like, you haven't done anything wrong, but God, that looks so bad, you might catch a charge.
So I actually read a news story about a guy that they arrested him, and when they patted him down, the arresting officer was trying to say he's got something in his pants, when they're booking him in, and the cops were like, "Do you have something in your pants, sir?" And he's like, "No, that's just me. I'm just built that way." And they're like, "No, that's not possible. You've got something in your pants." And he's like, "No, I'm telling you, that's just me.
That's all me."
They actually made this guy drop his pants and show him. And, he's talking about it in the story. He's like, it was humiliating, that I had to see that, And I'm like, I guess I'd have gone a different direction with it, While it's humiliating, I would have leaned into it and like, yeah, you like that, don't you?
I think you just have to lean into it at that point.
I just lean into it.
If you don't want to have to talk to your psychologist about it years later, the bad policeman giving you the naughty touch, I think you just have to lean into it and make it a big joke.
Yes. Say helicopter.
That was one of my favorite things when I was a kid, just to do the old helicopter. Helicopter. Yeah, I'm so glad I didn't have a camcorder back then, because I film my helicopters enough now. Back then, it would have been not only extra inappropriate, but the visual quality would be terrible.
Yes, yes. The video's gotten so much better over the years. All right, Dan, I'm getting off of
Yes,
here.
sir. Thanks everybody who came by. It looks like a few foreigners dropped by and they left a couple comments that I can't decipher. The rest of you who will be seeing this after the fact, I hope that there aren't any glaring audio issues. If there are, just suffer through them. Just suffer for us. You just watch the shit. Watch it, like it, share it. Help a brother out. Help a couple bros out here. We're trying to build something. God damn it.
Good night, world.
Good night. Sayonara.